Now, Nigeria has been ranked third, or rather ranked as the third most terrorized country in the world. That's by the Global Terrorism Index. The report stated that death attributed to Boko Haram in Nigeria increased by 25% from 2018 to 2019. The report also added, and I quote, "In 2019, Boko Haram carried out 11 suicide bombings, causing 68 fatalities. Suicide bombings accounted for 6% of all terror-related incidents by Boko Haram in 2019, marking an 89% decline from their peak in 2017. Well, for more on this, Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni joins us now in the studio. Glad to have you on with us as always, Mr. Efeni. This is a rather damning report, or outcome rather, for an administration that came in 2015 championing their ability to defeat Boko Haram, an administration that has repeatedly come out to tell us that they have defeated Boko Haram.
Well, damning, maybe not necessarily, because Nigeria has been in that position, the third most terrorized country in the world for the last 3 years. And of course, this study is carried out by the think tank called the Institute of Economics and Peace, using such parameters as incidences, fatalities, amongst others, to calculate the level of terrorism in each of these countries. Nigeria being behind Afghanistan and Iraq. Now, what is perhaps also significant in this report is that the 2019 fatalities was carried out by Boko Haram, 11 suicide bombings, accounting for 68 fatalities. But if you look at this against the peak of 2017, there's actually a significant decline of about 89% in terms of casualties and attacks. So, although Nigeria is still occupying the third position in the last 3 years...
That's a long time to occupy the third position, Mr.
But
Efeni.
in actual figures, there's a decline, which we must also note. It tells you that perhaps the insurgents are also being reined in to the extent that they are now just targeting soft targets. So, yes, it's not a good position to sit on consistently for 3 years, but the fact that there is significant decline from the peak of 2017 by about 89% should also tell us that perhaps we are doing something right, but we need to...
That's the next place I'm going, which seems like a silver lining there, but then the question would be, what more do we need to do? What are we not doing so we can really bring it down to the barest minimum or even totally exterminate it?
Yes, recently we heard of international collaboration which are in the offing to ensure that
with the US and
the EU, which are all pulling resources and intelligence together to ensure that Boko Haram and its affiliates are defeated not only in Nigeria but in West Africa. The need for international collaboration cannot be overemphasized. We have the Joint Task Force comprising Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, and Niger. That collaboration needs to be further strengthened, and with the coming of the US and the EU bringing their resources, their intelligence, weaponry to bear in that partnership, then we should see better results and perhaps drive that number down. Nigeria not occupying that third position maybe in the years ahead.
Because we've been there for quite a while. There have been different reasons over the years attributed to that position. We also had the arguments put forward at a time with regards to the herdsman crisis we were facing in the country and all of these things. But you look at it off the backdrop of what this particular administration came into office telling Nigerians they were going to achieve, which is why I'm asking, what does this say about their achievements? This administration has about 2 years left in office and we're still maintaining this third position. Yes, numbers have gone down, things have declined, but It is still damning.
Yes, don't forget that I agree with you. One of the cardinal programs of this government from inception is to bring security to all parts of the country. And the fact that beyond Boko Haram, we now have banditry spread across the north to the extent that the Sultan himself, the Sultan of Sokoto, has said as recent as yesterday that the north is the most dangerous place to live in. Yes, we expect that these numbers should go down, but if in 2020 figures are to be looked at in the next year, they will factor in the widespread banditry, and we are not likely to improve our position. So, yes, the government should be worried that it promised to end insurgency in the northeast, but what we have now is wide-scale insecurity as a result of banditry, herdsmen problem, and of course, kidnapping all over the place.
Let's talk about what the governors are doing, especially in the north side. Recently, they held a meeting. I think Zulum is the chairman of
Northeast Governors Forum.
And they were talking of the need for them to be able to prosecute. What's your sense of that?
Yes, it's something we have to look at the laws, because right now the Terrorism Act gives the power to prosecute incidences of terrorism on the Attorney General of the Federation, not at the state level. But what Zulum is saying that we need to bring that powers to the state so that there will be quick dispensation of justice in the trial of these terrorists. But again, when that law was being made, the fear was that if you give that powers to the state governors, they will use it to brand opponents as terrorists and try them. But again, we must also not always entertain this fear. It's the same argument they make against state police. Oh, if you have state police, governors will use it to terrorize their opponents. But I think we have to grow beyond that and ensure that the people we elect are people who will not abuse power. And I think it's a lesson for the politicians too, because a lot is going wrong because of this fear.
Find a nexus between abusing power and not abusing power. Find a nexus. Find how you can stem it.
Yes, there has to be within the law also. Because if you have state police in other climes and they are not abusing it, then there are best practices we can copy elsewhere than to just say, oh, our politicians will abuse it and do nothing. Even when that step is what will help the situation in the country. So I think it's something we should take another look at so that these terrorists can be quickly prosecuted at the state where these offenses are committed.
But how far is that likely to go in terms of this? That's been put forward to the federal government for them to allow these powers to come down to states. How far do you see that going?
Well, I think all that should be put before the Constitutional Review Committee of the Senate, and the Attorney General of the Federation should also take another look at that law, the Terrorism Act, such that because we need to tame these insurgents and banditry, and quick dispensation of justice. If these are caught, tried, and jailed, I think it will also serve as a deterrent that there is no gain in joining these insurgents. And
there are consequences.
Yes, there are consequences.
Almost immediately.
Yes, because for now, you hardly hear any insurgents arrested being tried. Rather, it's the opposite we're hearing. Oh, rehabilitated clemency. And given some kind of clemency.
All right. We will leave it there. Emmanuel Efeni, thank you so much for your interesting analysis on the insurgency and, of course, the meeting of the governors of the Northeast.